What's up, everyone? This is Andy from Overnight Finance. Today is May 25th, and I'm delighted to kick off our today's AMA with very special guests, which I'm about to introduce in a second. But before that, I need to make a quick disclaimer. This intro is recorded after an original stream, as we had some audio issues. But luckily, we've got it quickly fixed, so I'll try to make a smooth transition. That said, let's jump to it. Today's host is Maxim Ermilov, founder of Overnight Finance. And for those who are not familiar with us, Overnight Finance team develops USD Plus, a yield-bearing, fully collateralized stablecoin. And our very, very special guest today is Simsala, lead developer and founder of Sphere Finance. Sphere Finance is a project that serves as a center of its own ecosystem. Investors who buy Sphere earn revenues made possible by their innovative tech and governance presence over other projects. The first question is to Simsala. Can you describe Sphere ecosystem in more details? What is the role of Penrose, dystopia, and how it all links together?
I'm hearing myself twice. Okay. So basically, what happens now is with Penrose, Dystopia, and all that stuff, we are actually building an ecosystem where we bring deep liquidity into our blockchain, right? Into Polygon. We are all Polygon, maxis, right? Like everyone here is building on Polygon. So basically, we build Penrose, Dystopia. Dystopia is going to be the deep liquidity on Polygon, right? Every big stablecoin swap is going to happen through Dystopia, and everyone who wants to use the benefits of that is going to use Penrose, right? And Sphere is going to become, this deflationary mechanism where the volume of Sphere is going to make Sphere more valuable in the future, right? But for it to happen, you need unique revenue streams that are only tailored to Sphere, right? We need to bring products to the market that are only, normal to Sphere, like something that Sphere builds. Because the big thing is, you know, with all these different protocols, why should I use your product, right? Like this, like the big question: why should I use Sphere? Why should I use Overnight, right? You guys take the farming for the users. What does Sphere offer, right? We build unique products that the entire blockchain uses, and the profits that we make go back to the investors who actually make this possible long term, right? So, like that
Yeah,
is basically the big question, right? We want to build a product, a token that is actually based on revenue streams, right? Like all the different revenue streams that we make are actually the reason why you invest into Sphere, because you have a token that you always have someone who's going to buy the token, and that is the Sphere Treasury because of all its unique revenue streams.
very good to hear. And I think this is a little bit the top of the iceberg, and I'm sure there is a lot to come in terms of the unique revenue streams. How does USD Plus, the unique yield-generating stablecoin, which pays you yield daily via rebase,
Yeah,
fit into the
really.
picture?
First time I hear of the stablecoin. It's a rebasing stablecoin.
Yes, you heard of
Oh
rebase.
wow! No, I'm just kidding. So a lot of users already have seen quantum liquidity, right?
Yeah.
A yield-bearing LP, and as you have already stated in your Medium articles, USD Plus is like perfect for LPs, right? Because technically, more or less, 10% are being used, and 90% are capital and inefficient, staying there doing nothing, right? So we built
Yeah.
quantum liquidity to actually take all that liquidity and farm it, right? So that it's becoming yield bearing as well. But now imagine we take that to the next level where we say even the token that we pair with, right? Guys, you gotta use your
And
brain. The token that we pair with is actually also yield bearing. So it's twice as yield bearing.
yeah, and that yield-bearing token can actually go into the dystopia pool,
Yeah,
and whoever, but and Penrose can vote on it. And just
yeah,
imagine all the things which can happen further without those LPs. I don't know.
exactly.
So, sky is really the limit
It's
over
the
here.
limit, sir.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
So yeah,
But I
so
think what is interesting for the whole community, and on a serious note, is that we've been having discussions with a lot of protocols. And the idea that a lot of people like is that there is crypto winter coming. And when it was crypto summer, crypto spring, or whatever, everything was growing, you would try always to pair your token against the crypto, which is going to grow the fastest. So Matic, WTH, whatever, because when your pair is growing, your token is also growing. These
Exactly.
days, you can no longer be sure about that, and so a lot of people have been switching to USDC because it's stable. At least it's not falling. But with USD Plus, it's actually there will be upward appreciation pressure on the paired token. So on Sphere, there will be appreciation pressure coming from APY USD Plus is producing, kind of trying to give a little bit of extra push. I'm sure Sphere actually, doesn't need so much, but just give it a little bit extra push in terms of 8 to 12% APY from what it can generate in the LP. So
Yeah.
that's, I think, is going to be big news. Coupled with your quantum liquidity, coupled with Penrose and Dystopia, I think it's becoming very, very powerful. It's yield upon yield upon yield. Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, for everyone to understand once more is, Sphere goes right with USD Plus. We're going to pair our LP together. A lot of people are asking when USDC. We have been working on USDC, and we have been also working with overnight, of course, to create this LP.
Yep.
Of course, it's a much superior model. Having your collateral or your LP token also be yield bearing, and on top of that, the profits that we make with quantum liquidity, we can actually utilize and buy more USD Plus and inject it into our LP, and that's how we have the APY of USD Plus that is going to be yield bearing. Of course, please keep in mind if you check Overnight's website, for instance, they are very, very flexible in how they yield generate. So they have Mesh Swap, they have Aave. You guys have Dodo, and who was the last? Um,
Arrakis.
Arrakis, sorry, yeah, exactly. And Arrakis, there's a lot of different ways, and USD Plus is very, very versatile, very, very capable of switching and adding new incentives to actually turn on the yield up, even more. And at the same time, we at our swap, with Tattoo Swap and our governance power over the ecosystem, we can actually incentivize different votes, in favor of USD Plus, in favor of our LP, so that we can actually have our LP become an active yield bearing vault, basically token, basically. So everything is yield bearing. It's not like the vault itself is yield bearing, but even the tokens themselves have an underlying yield bearing mechanism, which is very, very unique and very, very nice.
Yeah, and we've been thinking, from USD Plus side. I mean, we still need to reflect and see. Either tonight or tomorrow, we will also be putting some of the USD Plus liquidity onto Dystopia. USDC, USDT pool, and USDC DAI pool. We need to see how much we put in, but like stable to stable pairs is something which we like. Dystopia is launching, it's going to be huge. First days are usually the best. We already see some votes on those votes. I think USD Plus is going to be getting some liquidity from Dystopia, but also returning some liquidity back into Dystopia, into those two pools, generating yields and yields and yields, loops after loops after loops for USD Plus holders, but also for Sphere and for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. A
Uh,
lot of yeah.
that's a lot of circles and loops, and now you.
We wouldn't want more loops, right? Yeah, going to
um,
be very, very interesting the coming days and weeks, because USD Plus is not going to be only utilized in Sphere's ecosystem, to say the least, with the LP. That is already amazing, and I'm very happy to have this partnership. But USD Plus is going to become also, will have a more vital role in the future as well, especially because I can talk a little bit, right?
yeah,
What we want to do is make USD Plus one of the most incentivized stablecoin on Penrose and Dystopia. That's where we are going to be incentivizing the protocol for. And in the future, as you guys have seen already with Prion and Sim, I can't go too much into detail now, but it's going to create some amazing yield opportunities for our investors. That is you guys, and of course, also pretty amazing and liquidity inflow for also the Sphere treasury to buy back and burn Sphere. So it's going to be this is like the first baby steps that we are making right now. The Sphere USD Plus pool with quantum liquidity is already massive, but it's not going to stop there. We will have way more, and I think more exciting also ideas in the future that will be very interesting for the investors to see.
I think I guess well, thanks for this. We're very proud and grateful to be part of this. But I think also a lot of people at this AMA are quite interested to understand what's the best way, like what should be the best strategy, or shall I say tactics, of the next 3, 4, 5 days, first week, second week of Dystopia launch. What's the best way for people to farm, and what to do with the DISC tokens they're gonna do?
Oh, good question. So yeah, you can actually, once the emissions start in a few hours from now for Dystopia, you can actually stake your stablecoin. So let's say USD Plus preferably, right? USD Plus and USDC, put it into Dystopia, right, and earn the yields that come from staking your LP tokens, right? You earn liquidity, or well, you earn DISC tokens from that. And once Penrose comes live, you can actually take your LP token and put it into Penrose, so that your farming gets aggregated. That basically means you get more bang for your buck, right? And you know with that is going to be very nice for you, because then you will be able to earn more the more you stake into the protocol. So basically what you want to do is take your stable coins, split them into half, into two different stable coins, put them into Dystopia, earn the yields from that, go to Penrose, take your LP that you have taken from Dystopia, put it into Penrose, so that it even boosts even more your returns. And the DISC tokens that you collect, put them also into Penrose, so it's not DISC but PenDISC. And with PenDISC you will also earn higher yields. So it's it's an optimizer for your returns.
Yeah, sounds cool. Sounds cool. So, which pairs do you recommend again?
Well, let me check. Anything USD Plus, right? Is that what I was supposed to say?
Well,
Let me check
anything
it.
is ready for the USDC. Yeah, USDC, USD Plus, I think is the most interesting. But also for those who like Matic and WTH pairs against USDC, it's much better actually to do the same against USD Plus. Yeah, but thanks, man, for this. Yeah.
No worries. It's to each their own, right? There's non-stable pairs. If your risk appetite says, hey, I want to do a quote unquote risky stable, right, by being a volatile asset, you can do that as well. There's all the different tokens, right? There's also WMatic, USDC wrapped ETH. So it's up to each and their own to what they prefer. But
Yeah.
deeper the liquidity, the better.
Yeah.
I totally agree. So yeah, anything USD plus.
USD Plus.
Andrei, shall we maybe ask questions from the audience? I'm sure 442 listeners, 445 must have a lot of questions.
Yeah, Max, definitely.
So,
Oh, I hear myself.
We hear you very good.
Okay.
So
First of all,
I'd like to get on the stage
one of our
plus
team,
core team,
because I know that
because I know that they have something to say.
So Dime
So, Dime Fletchon, please feel free
to get on stage.
to get on stage.
Mr. Fletchman.
They're shy, they're afraid.
No.
Please.
Listen.
Hey,
Hey,
do you
welcome.
guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Welcome to the stage.
Hello, everyone. Thank
Hey.
you. Thank you, Andrew, Max, Simsala, for the interesting discussion so far and commentary on the partnership between the platforms. And like you said, Simsala, thus far it's been an actual mind bender for me. Just thinking about the USD Plus paired with quantum liquidity.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's this partnership gives me a lot of confidence in the overnight's future as well as Square's future. And I think it's one of the protocols, or actually both are protocols that will emerge as winners. After this crypto winter that we're in.
During
During
crypto winter.
winter.
We're the Norseman. We like
Yeah,
winter.
during as well. But
Yeah.
especially when the next bull market starts, I think
We
a
will
lot of
make
people will pick up all of these tokens, and that will be a great thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this partnership is really mind blowing, and I'm not sure if I truly grasp the implications of it, like the hash rate Polygon ecosystem. But I think it will be huge. USD Plus's yield-bearing stablecoin combined with Square's quantum liquidity, and now on the Dystopia swap as well. So I think it's going to be the biggest thing Polygon has seen so far. So thank you guys, and the best of luck.
Appreciate it.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah, I think we met with Diane Fleischman when Mesh Swap was launching, and we were trying to convince very respectable community of Mesh to vote for USD Plus. And actually, that's where we met. And ever since Diane Fleischman has been really, really helpful to our community. Really appreciate what you've been doing. But I gotta ask you, man, all these people who are farming Mesh, what do you think they should do now, while they still have 4 hours until this Tokyo launches?
I think they shot themselves in the foot. As you said, we met in the discussion on the Meshwap Discord on the road to get USD Plus, emissions on Meshwap. Unfortunately, the Meshwap community didn't, I guess, react positively to it. So yeah, there's no true on Meshwap. I think you're missing out. The people that are not safe, they should pull out all their stuff and put it on the Stopia. And the ones that have stayed for a long time on Meshwap, I don't know, man.
Yeah, and I still remember your meme. Your meme was the best, where Dystopia and you didn't know about our partnership, but you had like Dystopia and USD Plus dancing together, and and Mesh staying in the corner. Yeah, you saw that, yeah. This is the author.
That was their job, to be fair, respectfully, I have also joined the Discord and said, "Hey guys, it's a pretty unique and good stablecoin. Why don't you want to incentivize that, right?" I guess once people realize the Stupios launch and the like, it's going to be pretty unique and very interesting, to say the least. So life's good. Life's good. There's always new opportunities, right? Now, Microsoft may have not proceeded with giving emissions towards the protocol, which is totally fine. It's up to them, right, to decide. It's after all a vote. But we are very, very happy to have you guys with us. So, best of luck, right, into the community. Shout out to everyone there. Yeah, we are looking forward to maybe who knows, maybe we'll be working with them in the future. Maybe USD Plus makes a comeback on Mesh Swap after they see how amazing it works. So yeah.
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 But I think it was a big outflow of liquidity, and I realized this for a reason. And now with Dystopia launching, Penrose on top of it, all the quantum liquidity stuff, I think it's a no-brainer. And
Guys, we need to move on with questions. Thanks, Diane Fleischman. This was great.
We need to continue.
With the questions and be extremely efficient.
Let's go one
by one.
You have
So you have anti-whale mechanisms in place to prevent a massive dump that would depeg USD Plus, especially while you're building liquidity.
Oh, I assume that's a question from Filipino one from Chicago. Probably. Actually, by the way, very pleased that you joined our community recently, and actually with very profound questions you're asking. Actually, clearly you're looking deeply into our protocol. So we are not afraid of any dumps. We actually welcome the dumps because that means that whoever stays with USD will make money. This commission of 4 basis points, or 0.004 on redemptions and on mint is there to protect from things like this. That's the fee we are not keeping. That's the fee which goes to the USD Plus holders and improve their yield. Most importantly, the design of the USD Plus is the following. At any point in time, you want to redeem one USDC, 100 USDC, 100,000 USDC, 500,000 USDC, like all the liquidity you've got, we should be able to give all it back to you, whatever the size is. So 100% of TVL, we give it back to you with one spot. And the way we achieve this is our smart contracts invest only into the protocols which have 100% liquidity on the spot. So whenever you want your USDC back, you just get it. So when people come, they want to dump, great, dump it, redeem it, sell it. We welcome that. It will not go into the pack. The only thing where it can depeg, which I'm afraid of, but we are building to close that loophole, is USDT kind of collapsing. The only day when we had a loss on one of our strategies, not a negative rebase on the USD Plus, but like on one of the strategies which we had, and I can say it was USDC, USDT Arrakis strategy, we indeed had a loss on one of those strategies. That was the day when USDT was depegging from USDC during the UST crisis. And I remember Simsala called me up and said, be careful, pull out of USDT. And I saw the depegging and there was a small loss on that strategy. I was really afraid for some time. That's the only situation where I would be a little bit concerned. And I think we're gonna close it this possibility very soon, because we're gonna move to borrowing USDT rather than buying USDT. So if it depegs, our exposure will reduce. But yeah, I mean, we welcome the dumps. They make us rich.
That is what I want to hear. Like, we welcome the dumps. They make us rich. That is the spirit, the mentality, right? That you should have. Yeah, it was funny. Like I said, hey, make sure USDT may depeg, and I felt like I jinxed it, right? I was with one of my friends. I talked to him and I was like, you should maybe sell your UST, right? Bear market is coming. People are taking off their TVL, and I was like, yeah. He was like, I don't know if it's going to happen. And about like a week after UST right? And all of that happened. Then I tell you, UST may depeg, and it's not a depegging. I will not jinx it one more time. I will never say a token is going to depeg anymore.
Yeah, but we the design of USD Plus is such that it's fully backed by assets which can instantly be converted into USDC. That's the beauty of it. You can always take a flash loan with USDC and kind of buy depegged USD Plus and kind of redeem it for USDC, cover your flash loan. So it's really reliable mechanism. Unless one of the protocols underneath it, like USDT, falls, then it could be an issue. But that's why we need insurance. I'll tell you another story. I'm close with the 1inch team, and we were bidding in February. We were bidding for them to put some of their treasury into USD Plus, and their community was very against it because they were saying like 10, 11%, 12%. This is very small. Look at UST. Look at Anchor. That's what we should be doing. And on their forum, I think it was 23rd of February. The record is still there. I wrote basically saying, guys, I understand USD Plus is producing less yield than UST, but I totally see that UST is an algorithmic, and I wish it all the best, but there are scenarios under which it can depeg. And they all laughed at me. And then, of course, all the bad things have happened, and a lot of people lost a lot of money. But suddenly I wake up one morning, and the two founders of 1inch and like all the guys, like 10 people in my Telegram saying, "Hi, we need to talk about risk management. Hi, you need to speak to our community." They remember that you cautioned us. I forgot about it. You caution us against it. Tell us how how to manage our treasury safely. I think they want to put quite a bit of money into USD Plus now, so we'll see. Yeah, but careful, long-term pace. Yeah.
I totally agree. If you have too many red flags, even then, should never invest into a protocol with too many red flags. That's why,
Just be careful.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the people that put their money in a lot of. I actually was thinking. A friend of mine wanted to have return of the risks, right, for USD, and he was like, "Yeah, I think it's too big to fail," and he wants to put his money in, right? I was
Yeah.
like, "Okay, I'll tell you how to do it," and then I was like, "You know what? Don't do it. I'll actually try and manage with you your portfolio rather than putting it into USD." And he has quite a lot of money, and he was like thinking of putting it and take the money, the profits from USD, and then do whatever. And it was like a few days after it collapsed, and I was like, "Wow, dodged the bullet."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
well
but
done.
now I can tell him about overnight, right? Much better and safer.
Talking about quantum liquidity, I think that's then it's when it becomes powerful. Okay, next questions probably.
Yeah, next question.
Next question. Will Sphere peg with USD Plus?
Yes.
Peg is peg or pair?
Peg.
No.
Pair.
Yeah, pairs, yes. Peg, no.
No.
Pegging
No.
is, one sphere equals one USD. Okay, well, technically, we aim for sphere to go back to 10 cents and at one point to $1, right? So at one point, yes, it will be pegged, hopefully.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so
it's
it's
But until then, but it's
Yeah.
not allowed to stay at $1. We sky is the limit.
No, I think Sphere has a lot of potential, and honestly, has must be overtaking $1 at some point, or at least must have this potential. And we're just the stable coin producing yield. We just do what we can, adding to Sphere's growth like 8 to 10% with our yields, and then we're yes, fair, like no.
It's going to be very, very interesting. All of the different Legos. The next time, I think, next when we sit here and talk about once, dystopia, Penrose, Prion, USD Plus all together, like the big plan that we have, right? We're going to sit in a very different type of chair. It's very, very.
And maybe in a different place.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting once all of this together is going to launch. We will put Polygon, for sure on the map. Like people are going to be like, "Oh my god, how did we sleep on this?"
Okay, let's ask this question. Yeah.
Right.
The next question is:
Overnight seems
overnight
to benefit
too
from
small to benefit from dystopia's token airdrop. What are the plans to encourage farming on this by the most likely lower yield?
I think that is a question for me.
Yep.
We will pretty much support USD Plus with our governance rights as well. Since Penrose is also our baby, we will be incentivizing people to vote for USD Plus, and we will help Plus, become pretty dominant stablecoin in the entire ecosystem. So yeah, no worries on that end. We can.
Yeah, thanks.
No worries. Sphere has a pretty good voting power already in itself, and we have different protocols that will be able, maybe to delegate their voting rights and also bribes and the like may or may not be possible in the future. So USD Plus is in very good hands.
Thanks, man. Yeah. So while this whole thing is launching, we have also put in a few bribes, very small ones. We just want to see how that works. But I just wanted actually to draw people's attention that when you vote, the mechanics of dystopia is that when you vote, if you vote directly, then you are entitled to the fees and bribes. And so, but then it's interesting because fees and bribes are going to be split among all the votes. And of course, there are already protocols which had got a lot of votes up front and have put all these votes to vote for their tokens. And so they have a huge, huge voting power, which is never going to move. So if you vote there, you get very little because there is a lot of votes already there and your vote means nothing. But when you vote for things like USD Plus, we still have few votes before, while Penrose is launching and consolidating a lot of voting power. One vote can get you all the fees if you are the only one voting. One vote can get you all the bribes if you are the one voting. So you should vote actually for where your vote will give you maximum value. And that value is going to be where currently there is the least vote. So USD Plus would really qualify exactly for that. I think we'll be publishing some analytics, at least for the first week of Dystopia launch, how much yield or like return your vote would get you during the first week. And kind of will be ranking various pools on that. So look for that analytics because these numbers will be evolving, situation will be changing. But look for that analytics just to figure out where your vote really matters, where your vote gets you most returns.
True. You sound like a French politician, right?
I'm learning from the best.
I
I come from a country where there is no democracy and elections.
So at least here we have the freedom.
100%.
All right, moving on.
Andy,
If USD Plus is back,
cannot hear.
Yeah, I was muted. Use the plus effect subtitled.
are there any
Are
benefits
there any benefits
being
being on Topia over unit blue shade quick?
Say it again.
If
USD Plus is
if
back,
use the plus effect so tightly to use
are there any
are there
benefits
any benefits being
Okay.
on the Topia over swap?
Should I answer? Or
Yeah,
do you?
go ahead.
Yeah. So of course, why should you put any liquidity into Dystopia? It's because of all these bribes and optimized liquidity, right? At one point when Dystopia's liquidity is deep enough to compete with QuickSwap, Uniswap, SushiSwap, and the swaps, right? It's going to become the prominent way to swap, and for you to actually make or earn liquidity, right? You would like to have a stake instead of Dystopia. Basically, Dystopia is optimized. Dystopia is a hybrid form, right, of Uniswap and Curve, where it takes the best of both worlds and add it towards, Dystopia. So it's like the most efficient, most dominant DEX swap in the market right now. And we added a lot of optimizations. We added like the routing interface. A lot of users, I couldn't say that here right now, but I think a lot of developers already know that if you want to swap a lot of liquidity, right, on the Ethereum, for instance, you would always have to go to Curve to swap it, right, because of the best returns. You wouldn't be able to use, let's say, 1 inch, because I think 1 inch now supports Curve, but they didn't support Curve because of the different interfaces. But now with Dystopia, 1 inch, Fog, Paraswap, all of these different aggregators are going to work through Dystopia, and that is where the most fees are going to be made, right? By having your LP used as the swapping point. And with Dystopia and Penrose, Dystopia being the liquidity, black hole in a sense, and Penrose is going to be the aggregator so that you guys can benefit the most from it. A lot of swaps are going to go through us, and of course, then we collect fees, and of course, you can also take your tokens, lock them into the protocol, and earn protocol fees. So there's a lot of different benefits that you have over, let's say, Uniswap. You have the Uni token, but the Uni token doesn't give you any returns, right? You don't get swap fees, right? I think Dquick does, and XSushi does. So like they are only the only tokens that actually do that. But other than that, no one else does it. But with Dystopia, you have all of that, and you have the optimization of Curve embedded into your protocol. So it has all the good parts.
Yeah, I think it's like next level. It's state of the art. The only, I mean, if you compare to Sushi and QuickSwap and some others, I mean, it's just next level. The only competitor which I see to Dystopia, honestly, is UniV3. But UniV3 is really bad for LPs. I mean, for passive LPs, like most common people, that's actually much, much worse than Dystopia. The returns are abysmal, and even if you want to make any money, you got to be like very frequent trader over there. So it's great for trading, great for speculators, bad for passive investors. And Dystopia is going to be fantastic for passive investors, provide deep liquidity, and be very competitive on the trading. So it's really next level, and for LP providers, this is the best.
Appreciate it. A lot of work been put into Dystopian Penrose, so I appreciate all the kind words. A lot of people are asking about Prion on Sim. Should I maybe give some alpha so that this AMA becomes more spicy even than it already is?
When you say it's going to become spicy, people are going to draw wrong conclusions. They're going to buy
Yeah, Prion is going to boost your LP on top of Penrose. I think that would be good. Let's say your LP token is gold, right? Because you cannot use it. Let me explain what Prion is. But without going too much into detail, you can go to and draw your conclusions yourselves. But basically, when you put in your tokens or your stable coins into an LP, let's say, of course, USDC, USD Plus, which other be other than this, and basically you now have the LP tokens of Penrose, but you cannot actually do anything with it because it's like a gold bar. You cannot go to the supermarket and buy milk with a gold bar, right? You need to have euros, dollars, etc., and Prion is going to enable you to actually do that. But I won't say more than that. Who wants to think can think, and who doesn't want to think, wait until Prion launches. But it's going to be very, very nice for yield farmers and normal users alike. So yeah, that is.
I'm afraid to ask questions.
Yeah, let's go ahead with the next question.
Shall we give word to Shinra?
What's that?
Shall we give word to Shinra?
He has raised his hand.
Oh, let's do that. Yeah, Shinra, go ahead. Get on the stage. Hey, Shinra, how are you? Shinra, you're on the stage.
Hey, man.
I think Shinra raised his hand for too long. He fell asleep.
I think we will move on to the
Sorry about that, Shinra.
There's Cactus as well.
Awesome, yeah. Cactus, I know.
Come here.
Welcome, Cactus.
Cactus.
I told you.
I cannot hear you.
They're shy. You're muted, by the way, Cactus.
Maybe something about that technology. Maybe Shinra and Cactus were talking, and we just.
I can see the question he asks. Cactus asks, what happens in the case of bank run like in UST? Does this mean your investments generating APY are all flexible? Also, in the worst case scenario, you can close all flexible investments so that you can repay USDC to holders?
Yeah, so we choose things with risk and liquidity in mind. So everything which is only things which are immediately liquid, so can be converted into USDC, and the lowest possible risk are accepted. So stable coins only USDT DAI at this stage. We're going to move to borrowing USDT and DAI instead of buying them to reduce the risk and volatility. We will consider only stable coins which are borrowable on Avis so that we can borrow them instead of buying them to reduce the risk. But overall, it's only things which are immediately convertible into USDC that are accepted, and strategies which are lowest possible risk. So if you want to come and take out all the liquidity of the USD Plus, we will give it back to you on the spot. That's the guarantee. And as I explained, this bank runs gonna actually increase the yield of people plus staying. So the more people withdraw, the better. They will come back, but the yields will stay. Now, there is a possibility of a loss, or we call it negative rebates. That might happen if we had all the people withdrawing from USD Plus when USDT was depegging. We would have realized the loss. There was like a moment of 2 hours where we would have had a loss, and that would have been very unpleasant to have it, because that would be history which would stay with us forever. So it didn't happen, but it could. And so that is why we actually want to make USD Plus even more, even better. We want to build insurance. Actually, it's funny because we are probably the lowest possible risk already on the whole of Polygon, maybe on the whole of crypto, lowest possible risk, and people actually asked us to put insurance on top. Actually, a lot of institutional investors want insurance and funds and stuff like that. So we'll build insurance, and the way insurance will work, and we need to talk with Simsala about how we combine it with Penrose, but so far the idea is that we will issue the governance token. We need to time it with the market. Maybe end of summer, maybe in autumn, we will issue the governance token, and that will be the value coupled with maybe Matic ETH and maybe Sphere, maybe something else, that you will be able to stake, and that will be value which will be collecting insurance premiums from USD Plus, but also serving as value to provide insurance in case of negative rebates. And so if at some point in time we're not able to give you 10% APY, but there's one day it's minus 1% APY, it might happen, it can be, but then there will be insurance which will cover it. And negative rebates of 1% APY, minus 0.001 one day, maybe it's not so bad. We want to avoid it at any cost. Our risk appetite is very low. Every day must be profit, but if it happens, can't exclude it. There are like, black swans and unpredictable futures, and who else knows what's coming. Might happen, then insure against it if you're afraid of it. Maybe it's not so bad if it happens once, twice. But big thing, we are very careful. We are trying to be super careful. That's what I'm afraid of every day.
When I talked to you, Max, at the beginning, was like, yeah, like of course, me by now privately also, Max, so you know that I'm very, very I don't like risk, and we talked about this as well. So when you told me, we are going to have insurance as our governance token as well, that was very, very assuring, right? Almost as assuring as the the insurance itself. But yeah, it's pretty good. Like also having the insurance, it's going to bring in a lot of confidence into the protocol, and of course, partner, having you guys as a partner is going to be also very assuring in the entirety of the, in the entire spectrum of, Sphere and its ecosystem. And, I'm just stoked to have you guys also partnered with us, like Dystopia, Penrose, and Prion, and a lot of people already seen Sim. So we're building so many different projects. We didn't even announce, like, I don't know, 2, 3 that already privately that I have talked to you about, so we can strategize on that. But yeah, we're building a lot, and I'm very happy to have such an innovative stablecoin in the midst of our entire ecosystem. It's going to be very, very nice to see how everything unfolds.
Yeah, I think as we discussed, our philosophy is the following: USD Plus is going to be a lowest possible risk, a little bit like money market fund, traditional finance. So lowest possible risk, maximum liquidity, not so much yield. But if you want yield, USD Plus is still the best. Just leverage it. So if you really have high risk appetite, it's better to take USD Plus and get leverage against it.
I wish I speak now, but I gotta keep some stuff. Otherwise, the core team of mine will say like, "Are you stupid, Sim? Every time you're on an AMA, you talk too much."
Leverage. I wish there was leverage somewhere on Polygon.
It's coming. No worries.
But basically, people who want to be, on a serious note, people who want to be very conscious of risk, just buy USD Plus. And put it in LP and get People who want to take more risk, there are various ways to leverage. Like more risk, 3 times leverage. Extreme risk, 6 times leverage. Actually, we believe it can be leveraged up to 9 times and still be kind of okay play for people who want to be really aggressive and not afraid to lose money, by the way. But want to be aggressive. So sorry, we talked too much about it. Andy.
Yeah, let's move on, guys, because we've got a ton of questions from the community. Shinra mentioned that unfortunately, like something happened with the mic, and we've got Cactus
ready to get
ready to get back on the stage.
now.
Cactus, now,
Great.
all right,
Let's try it this
let's
time.
try it this time, second time.
Hey, Cactus, you're on the stage.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, finally, nice. I'm glad to be here. Well, I had a question for overnight, but he already answered me, so thanks for that. And I have another question now for Simsala. Maybe you already answered it because I missed the first part of AMA, but since Dystopia is launching tomorrow, I was wondering why couldn't you implement a function on the contractor sphere so there wouldn't be any transfer tax if I wanted to transfer my sphere tokens to the LP on Dystopia, because that way I could also stake my sphere on Dystopia and get rewards.
Because basically how the contract works, it wouldn't allow that. You can't whitelist the function, right? Like for the contractor sphere, it doesn't know what happens to the sphere itself. So it's very hard for you, for instance, to actually do that, because everything that happens with your spheres, if you send it to another contract address, so let's say, the LP of Dystopia, it will calculate that as a transfer tax. We cannot, sort of say, hey, this is not a transfer tax if you had liquidity, because you never know what do you do with that other address, right? Because how it looks, the contract itself is like, I'm sending my sphere to this address. That's how
Okay,
it
yeah.
works, right? So it cannot differentiate between add liquidity. It doesn't know. Okay, okay, now I'm being added to the liquidity, no taxes, because it always calculates it as a transfer or buy or a sell. So we cannot really have that.
How would you be able to implement the function that you transfer your sphere to the cold wallet like you
Yeah,
have?
that is an entirely different functionality, which takes 100% of your sphere and sends it to another address. So you cannot like take a part of it. Sadly.
Okay. So thanks for the answer and keep on building, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
See ya.
All right, moving.
I see a lot of questions about Sphere coming up now. Like people are hungry for information. I don't know when was my last AMA, like almost 3 weeks ago. So there's a lot of pent up questions.
All right, moving on. So, Shinra, I think I lost your questions. I think you posted them in in our thread. All right, we've got a long list of questions. Other than that, so, oh yeah, how can average investor use USD Plus and Penrose? It has been announced that one can stake his funds in Penrose instead of Dystopia to earn bigger rewards. If this is the case, why would anyone use Dystopia? I think this was from Shinra as well.
Yeah. You want to answer the first question, Max, and then I'll answer the second question?
Yeah, I think as you already described, I think the best usage of USD Plus, there are multiple ones, but we can put it into one of the pools. USDC, USD Plus is probably the best. It gives you fees, rewards, and yield, while other pools give you just fees and rewards. There's also WTH USD Plus and Matic USD Plus. So depending on your risk appetite, you can put it into those pools. Then there will be voting. You form some dist, and then the dist can be put into Penrose, and that is going to maximize your voting power.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So one more thing. Why would anyone use Dystopia? The good part is the best possible scenario would be that no one uses Dystopia to add liquidity, but add it to Penrose, right? Because you have to keep in mind that Penrose cannot function without Dystopia. So basically, all liquidity that we add to Penrose is underlyingly added to Dystopia. But for you, the investor, you want to have the highest returns for yourself, or so I hope, right? So you would like to use your liquidity and put it into Penrose because Penrose aggregates, aka optimizes, the liquidity that you have already staked into Dystopia, but by giving your management towards Penrose. In the future, Penrose will have protocols built on top of Penrose where you can earn even more. Hint, hint, Prion, but I can't say too much now.
All right. So we've got more people willing to get on the stage. All right. I think Dilip was the first. Dilip coming in. Hey, Dilip, you're on the stage. How are you?
Yeah, hello, fine. How are you?
Good. Yeah.
Good,
Shoot
good,
your
thank
question.
you.
Yes. Hi, Sam. How are you?
Hi, nice to meet you. Thank you for joining us.
Yes. I'm an poor in communication with English. I'm an Indian with minimal uh, communication skills.
Sorry, can you
My
repeat?
question is simple.
Yeah.
Your vision is to what the market cap of Sphere after 1 year. Your prediction about the future of the Sphere.
I um let's say higher than now.
Higher.
um yeah. Yeah, I do not really give price predictions or anything like that. I think if I would give a price prediction, say, hey, I hope m- my goal is $1 or something. People are, after a
No.
year, I'd like my grand goal is to say, hey, we hit $1, we hit $2, and stuff like
Mhm.
that, right? That is like the, but I don't give a price prediction. Hey, in 1 year from now, we're gonna be, I don't know, 50 cents or something.
Okay.
Um, you know, I personally think that would be like trying to hype the protocol, and hype always is like hot air, but really nothing backing it. And I really am confident with the Sphere that we will be doing pretty well in the future. But I rather have my actions speak than me saying, "Hey, we're gonna hit this in this amount of time or something." I rather say, our goal is $1 billion market cap. Our goal is for the beginning, right? $1 billion market cap. Our goal is to hit, $1, $2. But when, only God knows. I hope that answered your question.
Yes, 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 yes. Thanks for that. Still holding Spear since
Appreciate it.
I'm participating this launch pad. I'm
Yeah.
still holding. I believe in you. Thanks for connecting. Thanks.
I'm holding it as well religiously. Like like this feels that I hold. I already have the picture in my head. A few people already have the picture in their head, and everyone is holding Sphere religiously right now. It's going to be very, very
Yeah,
interesting the coming weeks. Yeah. Thank you so
yeah.
much.
Thanks, Dilip. Thanks a
Thanks,
lot.
thanks.
All
Thank
right,
you.
moving
Have a
on,
good
guys,
one.
and we've got a ton of questions, so let's try to be as efficient as possible this time. Like
Yeah.
I know that we've trying to expand on the questions, but now let's just
Yeah.
focus on answering. How can
Yeah.
so there's a question which I'm not sure I understand fully, but seem hopefully you can take that. There were some tweets saying that Sphere may skip PAPI, PAPY. Can you extend
Yeah.
about this?
Yeah. I will give a short snippet because actually that topic I wanted to talk after Penrose and Dystopia launches because it will need some time for the community to understand. But basically, if you have an APY and you rebase, but the market cap doesn't grow, right? Then you have the big problem that every token that you have is becoming less valuable. And especially now that we are in crypto winter, it makes no sense to go from APY to perpetual APY to have that APY, but rather we say we're going to pair with the USD Plus. We're going to have the revenue streams. We stop the rebases and we start becoming fully deflationary where we buy and burn Sphere. And every trade is going to not buy, every trade is going to burn Sphere. You buy Sphere, part of this gets burned. You sell Sphere, parts of it gets burned. So so that Sphere in the future is not going to rely on any taxes as in revenue stream. That is like the goal. We don't want to rely on the revenue streams, by having taxes make them the money for us, but we want to have the taxes actually burn Sphere, and all the different revenue streams that we build actually buy back and burn Sphere, so that we, at the end of the day, we do not rely on investors, right? For Sphere to function. You guys are going to rely on Sphere to make money, but Sphere at the end, like the protocol in itself, is going to be so incubated that it doesn't really care about having 1,000 holders or 10,000 holders, because it's going to make money anyway. So you guys are going to join Sphere because you want to make money, not us wanting you to join so that the protocol makes money, because the protocol will make money anyway, whether you hold Sphere or you won't. Sphere is going to make money, and that is like the goal, right?
Yeah, this makes total sense. Gunter McGunt, get ready for your question. I'll put you all up on the stage, but after this question, which we have from in chat, what I have learned from Sim is that rebases are usually inflationary. That's why
Yeah.
Sphere is going away from rebases. Won't that affect here? I think you partially like answered that in your previous answer.
Hey, you want me to respond to that? I think they're concerned that why does Sphere not go and why does Sphere stop being inflationary, but then we partner with a protocol that is inflationary, because USD plus rebases. So it feels like contradictory. But USD plus rebases are based on the revenue that it makes from all the other farming strategies. This is completely different to Sphere's way of rebasing, right? Sphere managed to have this high APY at the beginning because we were not backed by anything. And because we were not backed by anything, we had this tremendous growth, right? Like we hit $250 market cap like in what, 3 weeks, right? From launch, which is crazy, right? So the APY could actually be printed because we had enough revenue streams thanks to the taxes coming to the protocol, right? But now that crypto winter is sitting, you always have to make sure that when you hit a certain growth point, it's very hard to increase or become bigger. So you cannot print, let's say, 100,000 APY when you're at a $300 million market cap, right? So it's very very different, and that is why USD Plus's APY is quote unquote so low, because USD Plus's rebasing mechanism currently is based on how much revenue it can bring from USDC, USDT, who knows. I cannot talk more. So there's different ways to make money for USD Plus, and Sphere is going to go the other way around, right? Is where we become deflationary, and our quote unquote rebase will be that everyone's tokens is going up in price. So that is like the grand goal.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. Gunter, are you ready to ask a question? Hey, Gunter.
Hey guys, having me here.
Yes.
So just real quickly, I actually just had two questions, but the first one is regarding the ecosystem as a whole. I guess my question is more of like, so with Dystopia and Penrose, and just really any of the players here that are, under the Sphere ecosystem. My question is, let's say, right, God forbid that one day there's like an exploit or something with liquidity pools or something happened that's not a good event. How do you guys foresee that affecting the rest of the ecosystem as a whole? Like, let's say there would be an exploit on Dystopia. What would we see it affecting, like this either Sphere price or something with Penrose, um, something
Yeah,
similar to maybe what would you Luna, or how do you
yeah,
foresee that happening?
yeah. Very good question. Thank you first of all for that question. What I could say is every protocol except for Penrose and Dystopia is a standalone product. Sphere is a standalone product in the entire ecosystem, right? Overnight is a standalone product. They are also our partners, right? But they're going to be partaking heavily in our ecosystem as well. Sphere its own product. Penrose is based on Dystopia, so if there would be an exploit, both would be a bit screwed. But technically, of course, if there's any kind of exploit, that would have detrimental issues of all of our tokens. But I think the very important part to keep in mind is that there is no death spiral. So basically, we cannot say, hey, once dystopia hits a certain level and then something happens, dystopia cannot recover. That is not something that can happen with us. Technically, the only thing would be like sentiment, right? Like people don't trust us anymore. That would be one reason. But if we get exploited, then of course, it's not in our hand in a sense, especially considering that we all do audits and the like, and make sure that we are very, very protected with what we do. But like I said, of course, if God forbid an exploit happens, of course there would be quote unquote consequences for the protocol. But there is no such thing as what happened with Terra Luna, where we lose 100% overnight because we have too many different security measures and in our protocols.
Would dystopia be in a position to maybe refund? Like, do you see that happening where if the liquidity pools were affected, you'd be able to issue a refund to some of the investors? I know it's very early on, I guess, but just
Yeah,
essentially
yeah,
what I'm hearing is that there are no other risks beyond normal liquidity pool risks, which makes
yeah.
sense.
Exactly. So the yeah, it's the same thing. You use the product as is, for the for to make you no calm down in that end. Dystopia is based on Uniswap and based on Curve, two protocols that exceeded hundreds of billions of dollars, are battle tested. You know, very very good. Like they saw the worst and the best days, and nothing happened. Countlessly audited contracts, right? Like Uniswap is contract audited, Sushi is audited, QuickSwap is audited, XYZ swap that uses Uniswap is audited, and Uniswap is being used basically by every swap. Every swap out there, right, is basically using Uniswap underlyingly, and we are using the same thing. We are using a hybrid version of Curve and of Uni, and our contract is also audited by PeckShield. So a lot of security has been taken into consideration. So yeah, well, not our contract, the Solidly contract where we are inspired from, and yeah, no such thing as we have seen that is exploitative so far. But of course, if there's a risk or if there's an exploit, I'm pretty sure that the Dystopia team will be looking up for a redemption arc in its story.
Yeah,
All right.
Andre, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah. I think the concern is valid. If you are truly concerned with this, we need to explore insurance options. Each protocol is a standalone business and is actually taking, its security very seriously, just like Simsala just described. We all know that sometimes, like when Cream a few months ago got hacked, Cream, which was like very similar, I guess, to Compound.
It is a compound frog, I think, or based.
Very close to that, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So that got hacked after so many years. Everybody was like, "Whoa, what? How can it be?" Sometimes things like that happen, and these are the risks which you are taking cautiously. And if these are the risks you are concerned with, like all of us, and you want to be protected, insurance is the option.
100%.
think,
If you hold overnight, you gotta get insured. I think there's a lot of protocols. I can't say right now, but we are working with insurance companies on Polygon. There are, I think, two big ones. So, we are already in touch with them. Overnight is already also building its insurance product. And for Dystopian Penrose, we can actually talk to these insurance companies so that they can offer insurance for these products, like Penrose and Dystopia. So, like I said, no worries. We take
Well, I think
security.
institutional investors tend to be very concerned with risks like this because they have judiciary responsibility and are regulated to do that. And that's why actually insurance makes so much money and so profitable for some people. But no one can give you 100% guarantee unless you're insured. That's the only way.
Awesome, guys. Thank you for that. Definitely would be nice to, keep us updated on any possibilities to get that insurance available on your platforms. And just the last thing would just be a question more specifically, really for any, I guess, any other projects, but more so Sphere. We've seen some projects kind of delving in slowly into real world utilities, real world capabilities. And I think, if any project is in the position to really shut people up about, Ponzi this and Ponzi that, it would be, Sphere, and it would be what's being built around here. Has there been any thoughts onto how or like when or what, any ideas on how to get some of that real world utility?
Yes. Yes. I can't go too much into detail yet, but we are already working with real life companies on bringing the blockchain to the people. Yeah, I just got goosebumps thinking of the possibilities what we're working on. But yeah, that is maybe in September, October, November, that week, because like I said, real life utility, it's very bureaucratic, so you need a lot of time to actually build stuff like that. But yes, it sounds like I'm actually someone is asking me to be married. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, we will be working on that. No worries. Yeah, we are building in real life utilities as well.
All right, Gunnar, thanks a lot.
Awesome, guys. Thank you for thank you.
Thanks for your questions. And we've already got Crypto Mayhem on the stage. Crypto, take
Oh no. You got the worst one onto the stage.
Hi, hello, you sexy lot. Sim, have you been washing your hands?
Of course.
Good man. I've only got questions, just more like good job with everything the team are doing. Full confidence with the project as always. Yeah, wash your hands, touch some grass, read some books. Yeah.
I told you guys he's the worst to get on stage. I already learned this mistake. No, he's amazing. Thank you, man.
Love you guys.
Love you too.
Crypto Todd coming in.
I actually like having people getting on stage. I'm always worried that you get weird people like Mayhem on the stage, but at the end, it's actually quite good.
Hi there, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yes.
Great, thanks. So, my question actually is kind of a combination question. I am definitely trying to get my head around still the withdrawal tax. And the reason I'm asking this is I'm not wanting to withdraw and get out of Sphere at all. I want to stay with Sphere for as long as I physically can. So, but once we go deflationary, my token pretty well sits there. It does nothing for me other than starts to become more valuable as tokens get burnt. But I'd like to be able to use my tokens while I'm holding on to them while they're becoming increase in value over time through the buyback burn protocol with the income coming in. I want to be able to put those in Dystopia. I want to be able to put them in Penrose and want to be able to add liquidity and do other things with them to try to earn with them. But I'm going to get taxed to do that. That's a concern to me because I'm not withdrawing it. I'm not a seller. I understand that tax is almost like a negative shame on you for selling kind of tax. I'm not selling.
Yeah. So
why tax me on it?
Yeah. Like I said, first of all, the big issue with contracts is. Wait, Todd, could you mute first because there's a lot of background noise?
Yeah, I'm doing that right now. Sorry.
Thank you, no worries. So a very good question, and like I said before, the issue is that from a contract standpoint, you cannot say, okay, I'm being added to liquidity. How EVMs work, you don't know what is happening around you. The only thing you know is, if you would be a Sphere yourself, the only thing you know, okay, I'm going from one holder to another holder. It doesn't know, okay, is it going to a liquidity pool? Is he actually buying? Is he actually selling? That is not possible to be determined by the contract. But we are working on ways how you can actually utilize your Sphere in different ways to also make it a additionally yield bearing way. But for now, our hands are a bit tied on that because of the taxation nature that we have. But in the future, we may be sitting down and thinking of something else. But as it stands right now, we can sadly not have that. I'm sorry.
Okay, but if I'm going to be putting that into Dystopia where I'm going to get a yield on a stable coin like USD Plus, and that let's say that stable coin is going to yield me 20% per annum. If I just got taxed at 20% to send my coin over there, then I'm out of luck for an entire year before I get back any of that those earnings generate my tax amount that I paid, because my 20% tax is immediate, whereas my yield is based on a yearly yield.
Yeah, 100%.
There's got
That's
to be a
why.
resolution to this.
Yeah, so the idea for Sphere in this faction is that Sphere can only provide the liquidity because it's exempt, like the treasury is exempt from taxes for specifically these reasons, right? To actually add liquidity. But as it stands right now, it's like impossible. Maybe we can actually create a zapping. Well, we could create a zapping function, right? Where you can send your sphere and uh, it converts half of it. Well, I will think about it. I may just have had a pretty neat idea on how to
Okay, but
create it.
on a final note, then my other question is, if like you want to open up Dystopia and Penrose in a few hours from now, and if all of a sudden a huge amount of us transfer Sphere over to get things going, and we want to do that, I'm assuming that we can do that. I don't know yet. That is going to make the Sphere protocol look like a ton of sales. Like everybody's selling. As you can see all these sales, and then that's going to even knock the price of Sphere down even further, because it makes the protocol look like everybody's rushing out the door.
That's totally true. Let me then explain once more. Guys, use your stables to actually yield farm for the lowest risk and high returns on Dystopia and Penrose. That's how you're actually going to make money. We didn't incentivize this via pool on Dystopia specifically because of this reason. You know, because it's not feasible for you guys to actually, use your sphere as LP. Take your stable coins and use that as LP to farm it. I hope that answered the question.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
I think we should. Yeah, I think the questions are turning more and more into a sphere AMA. There should be a sphere USD plus AMA. So I think we should wrap this up. Guys, we will be having a specific AMA where I'm going to destroy your brains a little bit at the Sphere Discord. Max, Andy, you're very welcome to join on that day. It's going to be very interesting. But yeah, if I would rather have a few questions on how USD Plus may benefit Sphere and vice versa, rather than just Sphere specific questions. We gotta respect the hosts here as well. So if you nerds have a question that is in here that is is mutually beneficial, then we would like to answer these questions. Otherwise, I think this has been an amazing AMA, and I'm so stoked to be working with you guys in the future.
Oh, Max, I think you're muted, Max. Max.
Yeah, he said he loves me. Well, I can read lips. He said he loves me, and he cannot wait to see Sphere at $1. Right? Was that correct, Max?
Hold on.
$10.
He says, hold on.
$20.
No, Max.
$100.
No, we cannot hear you. Sim, can you hear Max?
I cannot hear him now.
No, Max, we cannot hear you, unfortunately. Maybe you can reconnect again. Yeah, because like something happens here.
Yeah. Like you guys may not see this, but in the live stream you probably will hear that this part where Max is just showing like his hand gestures, like 5, 10 with his hands. So yeah, I think Max is muted, and yeah, he's not in here. But yeah,
Isn't it? Well, Sim, I gotta tell you that it's been an incredible AMA overall. While we're meeting
I appreciate it.
for Max, thank you so much for joining today and for bringing all those wonderful people. We were debating in our like internal chat groups on how do we find like amazing people so that we could just have a really meaningful conversations. And luckily we had a lot of people like before, but now with you partnering with us, we see so many great minds who understand DeFi, who know how to do their research, who ask right questions. Because in a different Twitter spaces, we were talking about overall
understanding of what people are doing, and the UST situation. And the biggest concern, the biggest problem is that people following numbers, people following masses and big names, unfortunately, without making proper research and due diligence. And um, uh, and
100%.
and our goal, like as leaders of protocols of such projects, is just to be as transparent as possible, facilitate this discussion, and be open for any tough questions, like how can we, like can we ever be depacked, right? Like anything, guys, like whatever you feel like you have in mind, you have to ask. And me and Max are every week on AMAs with you, and we'll get you on the stage, and we will answer your questions right in chat as well. So make sure you understand where you're investing your money, not follow like anyone's advice. So like whatever we just say here, it's not an investment advice. Make your research, make sure you understand our white papers, look through our AMAs before, which we've done before, and make educated decision. Max, I think you're back now.
Yeah, happy to take last questions, and thanks everyone for being here with us.
I think we have one person, user 8888. So there's one more person on the stage. Please come on in and ask your question. It's pending. Pending. Nope. Something's going on. All right. Well, I think that we can wrap it up for today then. Thanks everyone for joining. There was slight problem with audio. Really, like, apologies from my side on that, but hopefully we'll fix that up for our future events. Thanks everyone for joining. Please. Oh, I forgot to mention one important thing. For everyone who listens to us, we well, for those who haven't tried USD Plus yet, we want to give away like a little bit of USD Pluses. So mint. So here's the like the rules. Mint at least 10 USD Plus and get 10 USD Plus. But like only 25 people randomly selected will get it. I'll post this in our chat. So this has to be someone who do not have USD Plus yet, like who didn't have USD Plus in their wallet uh, on
Hey,
on Sunday. Hold on Sunday, right? Only only people after the announcement are eligible. So anyone who did that from Monday and on are eligible for that. I know it's just like our small appreciation of you guys, but what's even more important is you asking questions, being with us, and just sharing with us your ideas, so that we could become better together with you.
by the way, psst, Andy, I staked before the 25th. Can you get me in as well, or is it too late?
We cannot, that's something we cannot talk about, so no.
Just kidding. Yeah, good luck to everyone. Amazing. Thank you guys for that giveaway. Once you guys come to our server, right, and we host you guys, we will return the favor, right? Some sphere tokens to the overnight USD Plus holders, right?
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Yeah, we all surely welcome
Yeah.
you freshly baked partners everywhere. Oh, by the way, one more thing, guys. You have seen the Sphere Finance website. We have updated it the past days. It looks wonderful now. And in the coming hours, we will also have overnight also as one of our partners listed on our website, so that you can always also check overnight through the Sphere website, right?
This is amazing. This is so
Awesome.
cool.
Very, 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 very proud and very flattered to be part of such a wonderful community. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you are amazing, and your community is amazing. So, guys, very welcome to our community, and hopefully we continue on this path.
All right.
Yeah, I'm looking forward.
Have a good one.
Thanks, everyone. Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.